1.6, dividing rationals. Before we move on, remember, let's date our notes. And I don't mean dinner and a movie. I mean putting the date on your notes. And remember to write your name. Oh, that's not what we want. There we go. Tara! Dividing fractions is as easy as pie. Just flip the second and multiply. Ha ha ha! It's easy because it rhymes. It's also true because it rhymes. Example, the one and only for this video, by the way. Find the quotient of each expression. So quotient, when we say product, let's just do a little side note. That's when we multiply. Sum is when we add. Difference is when we subtract. And quotient is when we divide. So what we want to do is find the quotient, or we want to find the answer in this division question. Just to remind ourselves, if we have a negative divided by a negative, it's going to equal a positive number. If we have a negative divided by a positive, we have a negative. If we have a positive divided by a negative, we have a negative number. And a positive over a positive, we're going to have a positive number. So we're noticing this one right here. We're saying negative 3/4 divided by 1/8. So we know that, let's start at A, shall we? We know that our firstly, we know that the number overall is going to be negative. The answer is going to be overall negative. So let's just reread that rhyme. Dividing fractions is as easy as pie. Just flip the second and multiply. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal. My dad's a high school math teacher, and if I would ever say, yeah, just flip the second, he would be like, Tara, what are you teaching those kidlets? No, you want to multiply by the reciprocal. So, being true to my dad form, we're going to multiply, not flip it, not, flip it and multiply. We're going to multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal is when what's in the denominator goes in the numerator and the numerator goes in the denominator. Actually, just side note, you don't have to write this down. Side note, the reciprocal is actually 1 over some number. So if I were to say, what's the reciprocal of 8? I would say that it's 1/8. What is the reciprocal of 1 over 8? What I would say, it's 1 over 1 over 8, which means, if I were to do this a little bit, 1 divided by 1 over 8, which is 1 times 8 over 1, which is just 8. So I mean, ultimately what you can do is you can just flip it, but in all honesty, if we go back to the original definition of what a reciprocal is, you're saying 1 over the number that you're trying to find the reciprocal of. So the reciprocal of 1 over 8 is 1 over 1 over 8, which just turns into 8. All right, back to the example. So I'm going to do this in two ways. I'm going to separate this into two different questions. So this one right here, on this side, I'm not going to cancel, and I'm going to just simplify at the end. On this side, I am going to cancel. So I'm just going to multiply straight through. Negative 3 times 8 is negative 24. All over 4 times 1 is 4. Negative 24 divided by 4 is negative 6. So just for the record, you can have a fraction division that comes out to a whole number. That's amazing. That's the sound of my brain exploding. Okay, but what happens if I go in there and actually cancel? So I'm going to get a different color. I'm going to say 4 goes into itself once. 4 goes into 8 2 times. And I'm just going to multiply those new numbers. So negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. 1, not negative 1 because it's positive 1. Positive 1 times 1 is 1. So my answer is negative 6. So I totally skipped a line here because I used my canceling, but you're noticing that the answers came out to the exact same thing. Great. What we need to do here is whenever you have a mixed number, you have to change it to improper. So I'm just going to write here in Q's, change mixed to improper. And you all know that I have videos on that too, so you can re-watch those videos if you are having a forgetful moment. So I'm going to change both of these mixed numbers into improper fractions. 6 times 5 is 30 plus 1 is 31, and my overall sign is negative, so I'm just going to stick it in the numerator. That's where I like it. If you want to stick it in the denominator, that's cool. Or if you want to stick this negative out in front of the fraction, that's also cool. And I'm not going to do too many steps, okay? I'm just going to keep this division because we know that we need to multiply by the reciprocal. But let's change it into improper first. So 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15 over 7. But I'm going to make sure that I have that negative there. Now, what I want to do right now is like, oh, look, I have a 5 in the denominator here and a 15 in the numerator. I can cancel. But guess what? We haven't multiplied by the reciprocal yet. So let's write the step out that would teach us to multiply by the reciprocal. Negative 31 over 5 times negative 7 over 15. Now you're noticing what I did here. I just kept the negative in the numerator. I didn't carry it down to the denominator. That's cool. If you would prefer that you put it down to the denominator, that's cool too. Whatever you want. So now what we want to do is we want to multiply negative 31 times negative 7, which is positive, because a negative times a negative is a positive, is 217 over 5 times 15 is 75. Now I know that this is in a mixed fraction. Oh, sorry, is an improper fraction, so I want to get it into a mixed. So how many times does 75 go into 217? Well, 75 plus 75 is 150. 150 plus 75 is 225. So I know that it only actually goes in 2 times. I know that my denominator is left over. And I know that 217 is actually pretty close to 225. In fact, it is only 8 away. So if I go 75 minus 8, which is going to be 67, I have my number. And I'm going to put a box around it because I like my teacher and I want to make it really easier for her to mark. So, summary, multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. Cancel when you can, if you can. And always change mixed fractions into improper before multiplying and dividing.